I've been thinking about this for a while, and I've also been thinking a little bit more when I wrote this, but comics to anime. So I feel like a lot of people will want the Shattered Grid storyline. That's it. That's the one thing that they want the most. They want to jump straight in and be like, oh, hey, guess what? It's Draken versus everyone straight away. And I think that if you did that, it would be the worst mistake you'll ever do straight away. It will literally mean nothing. No one will pay attention to the rest of it. They'll probably follow for a while. But when they get that fix of when you see Shattered Grid coming soon, people would be like, I just want to watch it. And that's it. And you really want to kind of space it out. Not too long, but you want to space it out a little bit in my eyes. So for comic books in general, you have quite a lot of arcs, and we're getting more and more arcs all the way through. But so far, for my entire list, you have Shattered Grid, Beyond the Grid, Necessary Evil, Unlimited Evil, the Altarian War, Charge to 100, Recharge, I think that's one. You also have the Darkest Hour. You have so many other little stories that you could do. And I feel like if you kind of like mix these up a bit to kind of bring out what's coming up next, that to me is possibly the best idea you can do, because starting at Shattered Grid just means that, oh cool, you're not building up that audience that you want to appeal to other people, not just the Ranger fans. You want to appeal to the anime audience. That's how I would do it, and I would kind of slowly move it in. I would probably say Shattered Grid would be the third season at least, because then you've got people like gearing up for it. You have that build up. You have people watching your product all the way through. And then when they hit the third season, if they drop off after season 3, then at least you've given it a good run, a good way to say, hey, you're watching this. Thank you very much. But if you're not, then cool. We just don't want this to be a one and gone, because I do kind of feel that with Shattered Grid, once that had finished, everyone just dropped off. You saw Draken going across the multiverse, effectively killing all the other Rangers, taking their powers, morphing and stuff. And I feel like that would be a one and done. Like if you were to do it one season only, yeah, do Shattered Grid. But if you don't, I would at least keep it till season 3. So when you're starting this off, which one would you kind of start with? For me, I would say Go-Go would be the best one. I really enjoyed that entire run of comics. The Go-Go storyline was fantastic. It was set, I think, just after a little bit, so they got their powers, so it wasn't like 2, 3, 5 years later. It was, hey, we've just got our powers, we're still not sure what we want to do with them or how to use them. And that's how I would generally move it into, because it makes more sense. Start off with the very beginning, then jump into something that people know, and then boom, the storyline that everybody wants. Now, one of the story arcs that I find was quite boring was Beyond the Grid. I love the characters. I absolutely adored everyone. The Solar Rangers, some of the characters that they chose, but to me, the Rangers that they had, like Ranger Slayer, I absolutely adore, because I really like Ranger Slayer. But all the others, like Green Samurai, Zeo, Yellow Zeo, should I say, all those characters bored me. Like, I stopped reading because I felt like it just dropped the ball completely and I wasn't interested. I think I came back to read the kind of Altarian War, which I would probably say would need an entire season. So I'd reckon around about 24 episodes to be able to tell that entire story with all its kind of like amazing stuff and then kind of move into it. If you're going to do Beyond the Grid, I would probably say at least 5 episodes, because maybe 6, because I just generally don't think it's one of the stronger arcs. And then maybe if you want to mix it up, because if you're just copying it, it can be quite If you want to mix it up, have the Solar Rangers come in and join the MMPR Rangers when they're doing stuff with the Altarian War. Little things like that. Omega Rangers would be absolutely fantastic to do, I reckon. I think that would be a very interesting storyline, which it could span off to do quite a lot of different things. And you can have multiple different points of anime. Like, just think about it. if you had your main run, which would have been, say, the main storylines, you could have the Omega Rangers splitting off and doing something else. You could have the one-shots doing their own thing. Or if you want, you could really mix things up and say, okay, we're going to have at least 10 seasons of this, and maybe a couple of seasons are completely different. Something random that isn't just straight from the comic books. Doing a spin-off, say, Sins of the Past, Soul of the Dragon. I know Soul of the Dragon would have been a lot harder. When I wrote this was when obviously JDF was still with us, but you could easily have someone go down that line. Effectively, you know that the Rangers may not voice their characters, it'd be someone completely different, which I'd be okay with. But in general, like, you could have all those other comic books, the stories of other Rangers, you know, even if you wanted to do other teams as well. I would love to see Jetman in anime form. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. One of my favorite ones, I think. You know, other seasons, Wild Force, Mystic Force, give them their own kind of like own properties. That would be really kind of cool to see, and I think it would really work and resonate really well with the actual Ranger audience. Because again, you could have them go on wacky adventures or random adventures. You could do the same thing of like, hey, here is a plot that we need to be done. This is what's going to happen, and it's these Rangers going to be in it. Or mix the teams up, you know, choose some of the more popular ones, apart from Mighty Morphing and Zeo and all that, but have other ones, other people from different teams, all coming together to, you know, to actually make something fantastic for the franchise. Anime is still ridiculously popular. And I feel like even though it would cost a lot of money, if you did at least a season 1 and saw how many people like that, kind of close off season 1. So if it doesn't kind of take off, you're not kind of saying, hey, season 2, this is going to happen. Which again would work perfectly, because I absolutely hate it when TV series doesn't have a season 2 and they leave it on a cliffhanger. I'm like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? Why would you do that? I kind of really wanted to talk about it. I wrote this ages ago, but I do generally think that if you're going to do animation, anime or whatever, I feel like at least like make Shattered Grid like a season 3 thing, because then you can have that build up for people watching, and if people are going to really enjoy this, then they will, and they'll continue to support it. I will probably support it till the end of time. I just really love anime. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think? Do you think that Shattered Grid should be the first season, or do you agree with me and say it should be at least like say season 3? Would you like to see a Range anime? What would the story be for yourself? Like, what would you kind of like to have happen? Let me know down below in the comments. If you like the sort of content you want to hear and see more, hit the like button, hit subscribe, turn on all notifications, and why not check out the channel memberships? It does help the channel grow. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you very much for listening and watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. I want to say a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters, and I wanted to shout out Kimono Cat. Your help does go a long way to support the channel. And if you want to consider helping the channel, then links to my Patreon as well as the channel members are listed below.
あらあら、チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。